Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into another important aspect of REST APIs: how to pass path parameters using RestTemplate. Path parameters are key to making your API calls dynamic and flexible, allowing you to specify exactly what data you need. Ready to unlock the power of path parameters? Let's jump right in and see how it's done with RestTemplate. In our last video, we learned how to send headers with our API requests. Today, we're diving into something just as important: how to send path variables. Take a look at the screen. Our getEmployee API needs an employee ID as a path variable to return the specific employee's data. We're going to learn exactly how to pass that employee ID when making the call. Let's open up our REST client class. Now, let's talk about how to pass path variables. There are two main ways to do this. The first method is using RestTemplate's exchange method. As you can see on my screen, there are multiple options available. One of these allows you to pass a map containing your path variables directly into the request. The second method is using URI Components Builder. This tool also has a method called URI Variables, as you can see on the screen, where you can pass a map of your variables, just like with the exchange method. Both methods will take care of replacing the placeholders in your URL with the actual path variables before making the API call. For this example, we'll use URI Components Builder because it's straightforward and powerful. What happens behind the scenes is that URI Components Builder will automatically replace the placeholders in the URL with the path variables you provide, creating the final, complete URL ready for the API call. To keep things clean, we won't modify our existing execute method. Instead, let's copy it and paste it below. In this new method, we'll add an extra parameter, a map string object, for our path variables. Let's pass this map directly into URI Components Builder using the URI Variables method. Great! We've made all the changes we need. Now, it's time to create a method for getEmployee. Let's open up Employee Service Impl and set things up to call our new method with the path variable included. Let's keep things efficient. We'll start by copying the existing method and renaming it to getEmployee. Next, we'll update the resource URL to include the path variable employee ID. When we set up a path variable in the URL, it follows the same format as when we define it in a REST service: open curly bracket and variable name and close curly bracket. But here's the important part: the name you use for the path variable in your URL doesn't have to be the same as the one used in your REST API. You can name it whatever you like. It's not mandatory to match the exact name used in the REST service, like we have in Employee Service. This API doesn't require any query parameters, so let's clean things up a bit by removing them. Remember, we copied the code from an earlier method, but since this one doesn't need query parameters, we'll create our map for the path variables. Add employee ID as the key and set its value. Now that we've got our path variable map ready, let's call our new execute method. We'll pass in the map with our path variables, and since this API doesn't use query parameters, we'll simply pass null for the query param argument. This API is designed to give us the data for a single employee, so for the response type, we'll use employee.class instead of employee_list_response.class. Alright, our employee service is all set. Now, let's move on to the main class. Open the main class file and from there. All our newly created getEmployee method. This will trigger the process we've just built, fetching the data for a specific employee using the path variable we've set up. First things first, let's start the employee service. The employee service is up and running. Now, let's switch over and run our REST client code. Take a look at the screen. Notice how the URL now has two where employee ID used to be. Originally, our resource URL had employee ID wrapped in curly brackets, and in our map, we set employee ID to 2. When we passed this map to URI Components Builder, it seamlessly replaced the placeholder with 2 in the URL before making the call. And just below that, you can see we've received the correct data for the employee with ID 2 from the employee service. Everything lined up perfectly, and our code worked exactly as expected. We just saw how to get employee details using employee ID with a path variable. Now, let's take it a step further. We also have a delete API that uses employee ID as a path variable. This API will return a 204 no content response, no body, just a status code. So, how do we call this delete API? But first, let's get our employee service up and running. Now, let's switch over to our REST client. Right now, in our execute method, we haven't handled cases where the path variable's map is null. This means if we try to make an API call that doesn't require any path variables, our code might run into issues because it's still trying to process a null map. Add a simple check to see if the path variable's map is not null before we attach it to our URI Components Builder. Let's make things quick and easy by reusing our existing code. We'll copy the getEmployee method because the steps for delete employee are almost the same. Rename it to delete employee. Resource URL stays the same, but we'll use it to delete employee ID 3. Since this API doesn't return any data, we can skip the accept header, no need for it here. Set the response type to string.class because there's nothing coming back that we need to handle. And finally, we'll change the HTTP method to HTTP method.delete. Head over to the main class and add a call to delete employee, just like we did for getEmployee. Run the REST client service. As you can see in the response, our first call was to getEmployee, which successfully returned the details for employee ID 2. Then, just below that, you'll notice the delete employee API call went through. We received a 204 no content status code, which is exactly what we expected, and the body is null, meaning there was no content returned. Everything worked perfectly. Our path variables are functioning just as they should. To summarize, we successfully handled path variables to get and delete employee details. Everything worked smoothly. In the next video, we'll dive into how to pass a request body with your API calls, a crucial skill for handling more complex data. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future content. See you in the next one.